Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. What we have right here is a really exciting pair of earbuds. I know I probably say that about like every pair of earbuds, but this is really a pair that we've been waiting for months or a year, or I mean, for some people like me, we've literally been waiting for 2 years to get the brand new Sony WF-1000XM4s. Now the name sucks, really annoying to say, but unlike the name, these earbuds are really a fantastic pair, and they absolutely crush it in many of the main categories, from sound quality to active noise cancellation to battery life, among many other improvements over the previous generation XM3s. So the Sony 1000 XM3s were among the most popular premium earbuds for about the past 2 years. And then now they finally came out with the improvement, which I really appreciate. And I'll talk about some of the main differences in this video. Of course, I'll also test these out with microphone testing and stuff like that. And really, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's take a few steps back and let's just talk about the physical design here. I want to show you guys what we're dealing with. And that's one of the main differences, first of all. One of the main differences between the previous generation of the XM3s and these, the XM4s, is the design is so much better now. Way more compact. I believe the case is approximately 40% smaller, but it feels like much more than that. It really is a very light, very compact case. It sits upright. It has wireless charging on the bottom. It has USB Type-C wired charging on the back. And if you open up the front, you'll see that we have a little LED light bar that changes colors to tell us if it's pairing or if it's in what the battery level is. Really nice to have that as well. And when you open it, you can see the new earbud design, which I think looks fantastic. Again, something I didn't like about the XM3s was that they were huge when they put them in your ears. They were really not that comfortable and they stuck out so far. This new design is really different from, I mean, really any other earbuds out there. I don't really know any earbuds that look like this, and I think the aesthetic, they did a great job of really mirroring what they did in the XM4 headphones. So we have little gold accents around there, and I think it's a really nice compact design that when you put them in your ears, I think it looks pretty good. I think that they're pretty compact, they're not too big, and they're the perfect size that gives you a really long battery life, great sound quality, and all the features that we're really looking for. Now, I know I mentioned the battery life like 2 or 3 times now, so we'll just get into that. The battery life on these, thanks to Sony's new V1 chip on here, we're getting 8 hours of battery life in the earbuds with ANC on, which is amazing. And then with the case, we're actually getting up to 24 total hours. So total hour count is not leading the pack, but as far as good active noise canceling earbuds in a small case like this, that's really, really a great battery life to see. Now, something else you'll notice when you're looking at these is that we actually have foam tips. That's the only tips it comes with. It comes with 3 different sizes of these little foam tips, which have its pros and cons. The pros, you're going to get better sound isolation, so your music's going to sound better, you're going to be more isolated from everything around you, and the listening experience is going to be better. A lot of people will find these more comfortable as well, but I did find the downside is if I'm getting a phone call and I want to take the phone call on my earbuds, it is a little bit long. It's a little bit slower to take these out, kind of pinch them, put them in your ear, and let them expand. That's a really subtle drawback there. Most people won't care about that, but it's something you want to be aware of. You could always just get some other silicone tips and put them on here. Honestly, I maybe will do that, but these tips, you know, they do a great job for what these earbuds are meant to do. On the inside of the earbuds, you'll see we have a lot going on. So we have a sensor to detect if they're in or out of your ears. That gives you autoplay, auto pause functionality. And we have a microphone, a bone conducting microphone there, as well as microphones on the outside. And we'll get into a test in a second to see how good they actually sound. But some other little improvements here, these actually have IPX4 water resistance now, sweat resistance, whatever. It's great that this is a little more protected for an expensive pair of earbuds. And they also support Bluetooth 5.2. Now, something I usually don't talk about in a review, but I wanted to mention it here, is the packaging these came in. So a really nice little small package like that. And what's unique about this is that they're actually made out of recycled material. So a little bit better for the earth. You can feel a little bit better about what you're buying. Does it make a huge difference? Honestly, not really, because of course you have a lot of e-waste in this when these earbuds go bad in who knows how long, years from now, hopefully. But, you know, it shows that Sony at least is reducing their footprint and really moving in the right direction. So props to Sony for making a nice package. I really appreciate that. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention, on the outside, we have a touchpad on these earbuds. It's really easy to use, and we'll talk more about customizing that later on in the video. So let's talk about the sound quality on these earbuds. The previous generation, the XM3s, sounded great, so it's no surprise that the XM4s also sound amazing. And in fact, they actually have some subtle upgrades as well. One of the big ones is that they now have LDAC. So for anyone who knows about codecs, we could use SBC, AAC, and if you have an Android, you can actually use Sony's proprietary LDAC. And so that's going to give you higher resolution audio. It sounds amazing. As far as the EQ goes, you can adjust it manually within the app, or you can use one of like 7 different presets, which I think most people will be fine with. They all sounded really good in my opinion. But what I really wanted to do, I went into the custom EQ and I just boosted the high end a little bit because by default, these are a little bit bass heavy, which sounds great for a lot of more modern tracks. But I listened to a pretty big variety. And so I wanted to just lift up the high end a little bit to give me, I could hear the details a little bit better in the music I was listening to. But otherwise, very, very clear, very detailed, really analytical audio from these earbuds. And I mean, I really can't complain. They sound fantastic with the foam ear tips, really just a great listening experience. These also have DSEE Extreme, which is like kind of an up-resing thing that I don't really get excited about. I just kind of disabled it. It doesn't really do much for me. Okay, so next up, let's get into a microphone test. And this is what it sounds like. These are the microphones on the Sony WF-1000XM3s. I'm in a studio environment now, so honestly, this is probably as good as they're possibly going to sound. But let's go outside and see what they sound like in a noisier environment. Okay, so this is what it sounds like when I'm outside near a busy road. There's a lot of traffic behind me. It's a little bit breezy. This is going to be a tough condition, but honestly, let me know how this sounds. Getting into the app and talking about some of the features that these have, this is where these really differentiate themselves even more than a lot of the competition. So yes, these sound great, they have a great battery life and ANC, but when it comes to the app, you really have a lot of functionality and Sony packs in a ton of features. So right off the bat, we have adaptive sound control. Sony's been doing that for a while, and it allows you to essentially detect where you are or what you're doing. So if you're walking around, if you're on a train commuting, if you're at home, and it can adjust your sound, your listening experience based on where you are and what you might be doing. And on the very top, it says LDAC. It shows you which codec you're using right now, in case you were wondering when you're using these. And then we can go over to sound, and here again, we have ambient sound control where we can adjust the ANC if we want that, or transparency mode, or if we want those off to maybe save battery life. That's something you can do. The transparency mode, or they call it ambient sound mode, I found that these really do a great job with that. I can hear my surroundings. It sounds very natural, really as if I wasn't even wearing these. And there's a couple ways you can access that. So you can tap the earbud once, and that'll switch between noise canceling and ambient sound. Or you can actually just like press and hold the earbud and it quickly does that as long as you're holding that, just in case you're on a train and you need to hear your surroundings. Or another thing you could do is if you go into speak to chat, as you see right there, this is going to mean that anytime you start talking, it'll detect that and it'll kind of turn on ambient sound mode so you can hear yourself and hear, you know, if like you're on a plane and like somebody comes over and asks if you want a drink, you can just quickly answer that without taking your earbuds out. Then below that, we have the equalizer. We have Bluetooth connection quality if you want to prioritize sound quality and use LDAC, or a stable connection for like AAC, for example. We can also get on to analyze your ears, which is going to essentially be like a fit test. It'll play a sound and let you know if it's a proper seal in your ear. We also have 360 audio. It's something that, again, depending on which audio service you're using, that could be a really nice feature. Something like Spotify, I believe, doesn't support it right now, but Deezer and Tidal and a couple others do support that. Then we can go over to system, and again, even more functionality here. We have a voice assistant, so we can use Google or Alexa. On top of that, you can change the functions of the touchpads. This is what I mentioned before, and it's kind of it's customizable, but not as customizable as you might think. So if we look at that and we tap on the little setting, we can choose from a couple different sets of functions. So for example, on the left, we can do ambient sound control, which means that you have these two functions, the single tap or the tap and hold. We can go to playback control and you get this set of functions. We can also volume control or nothing assigned. And of course, you can do this for the right and the left. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot else I wanted to talk about with the functions of these earbuds. So that's essentially everything I wanted to show you within the app. Some other things to note are the compatibility here. So these work very well. I mean, they're obviously Bluetooth earbuds, so they'll connect to a smart TV, a laptop, a desktop, Android, iPhone. They'll connect to anything. But really where they do well is if you have an Android, you're going to be able to use the Sony app and you're able to use LDAC. So that's really your number one. That's the best experience. And if you have an iPhone, you're still going to get a fantastic experience. You can still get the app, but you're going to be limited to AAC, which is still a great codec. Still going to sound amazing. But other than that, if you're using like a laptop or if you're using a smart TV, you're not really going to be able to use the Sony app with these earbuds. Now, that brings us into essentially the ANC. Now, the ANC on these earbuds, you might have seen a lot of people testing these out. I mean, to keep it simple, it really does a fantastic job. Really a clean ANC. There's no, it's a combination here. So you have the foam tips on here. So if you don't even have ANC on and you have ambient mode off, you'll hear very little around you because the foam tips make great seal and they really block off a lot of things passively. Now, once you turn the active noise cancellation on, it crushes a lot of the low end. Honestly, I would say that these are the new king of ANC. They do a fantastic job. Not only do they cut everything out and make it very, very quiet, but they're also very resistant to something like a loud, like if I jingle my keys while I'm wearing like the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2s, that makes a weird sound. It gets very confused by that. The Sonys have no problem with that. I was playing the drums earlier, you can slam cymbals, and it has absolutely no problem with that with ANC on. So active noise canceling on these earbuds really gets an A+. Fantastic job. Sony's engineers really crushed it here. Now, I know for the past couple minutes, we've been talking about a lot of great things with these earbuds, but honestly, it's not all good. There are a couple drawbacks that I think you want to be aware of, and these are things that I haven't necessarily seen in a lot of other reviews. So the first thing is the connection. You're limited to only connecting to one device at a time, which means that if I want to connect to my laptop and my phone, I would have to disconnect from one and then connect to the other. It's a drawback, and it's something that I wish for this price Sony would have changed. The second thing is the type of connection. So this is using what's called master-slave connection, which means that your phone connects to one earbud and that earbud connects to the other, which sounds fine, but what that means is you can't listen to just one earbud while the other is in the case. Granted, not everybody wants to do that, but it's a drawback nonetheless. Thirdly, the microphone quality on here is decent, but far from the best. And of course, the fourth one, as I mentioned before, is if you're getting a phone call and you want to answer it on your earbuds, you would either have to have your earbuds in already, or you have to answer it and then say, please wait for a couple seconds as you put the earbuds in, you adjust the foam tips, and then you wait while Sony tells you what the battery level is for 5 or 10 seconds, and then you can start talking. For anybody who answers phone calls on their earbuds like I do, I think that's a drawback, but again, it's really easy to fix that if you just change out the ear tips, so I really can't hold that against these earbuds. But of course, the very last drawback, which is very important, is the price. I know a lot of people, this is going to be out of the price range. These are selling for $280, although for a premium pair of earbuds, if you're really looking for the best, that is not especially bad. I've seen a lot of other earbuds from Sennheiser and Bose and a lot of other competitors selling for $300 to $350. So realistically, I think that's a pretty competitive price from Sony. I'm not going to peg that up as a huge drawback, but I know that does put these out of reach for a bunch of people out there, honestly. So overall, these Sony WF-1000XM4 earbuds, as I said before, besides having a name that's really annoying to say, are really a fantastic pair of earbuds. As far as my choice for what the best earbuds are, I'll make a video of my top 5 as always, and if you guys want to see that, you guys can go down and click that subscribe button. But this is, spoiler alert, this might be number 1. This is very likely to be number 1, actually, from the amazing active noise cancellation to the fantastic sound quality, that 8-hour battery life in the earbuds, and of course the compact design, really a sleek aesthetic design in my opinion. But you can leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of these new Sony WF-1000XM4 earbuds. Is this something you'll be buying or not? And what features did you like or not like about these earbuds? As always, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm Mike O'Brien. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.